Let's solve a couple of inequalities that have integers, like positive and negative numbers, and fractions involved. So look at this one. If I have negative 15 is less than negative 3y, I'm going to want to divide by negative 3 on both sides to get y by itself. Whenever I divide or multiply by a negative number, I have to change the sense of the sign or flip it around. This cancels just fine. And negative 15 divided by negative 3 gives me a positive 5. So I have 5 is greater than y, or if I want to turn that around, 5 or y is less than, so I'm keeping the little point pointed at the y is less than 5. So whenever you multiply or divide by a negative, you've got to flip the sign and keep track of it. Let's see. Let's look at this one. Now I have a fraction involved. So let's do this. Negative 6/5 times w is less than or equal to negative 10. So if I want to get rid of a fraction, I can multiply by the reciprocal, or it's the same thing as if I were to divide by negative 6/5. But when we divide by a fraction, we actually multiply by the reciprocal, right? Remember? So if I actually was doing negative 6/5 divided by negative 6/5, that would be negative 6/5 times negative 5/6. And then my 5's would cancel, my 6's would cancel, and negative times negative is positive. So this is all well and good. And these are going to cancel and make a 1. But I need to do the same thing on the other side. Multiply by negative 5/6, which is, remember, the same thing as dividing by negative 6/5. All right, so we got w on this side, but we have multiplied by a negative. So we need to change the sense of our sign. Keep track of that. And then on the right side, negative times negative is positive. And if I want to, I could cancel before I move forward. 2 goes into both of those numbers just like that. And I have negative 5 times negative 5, which is just positive 25 on the top, and 1 times 3 on the bottom. So w is greater than or equal to 25/3. And that is simplified enough. W is greater than or equal to 25/3. Check. All right. Here's another one just like it. I have negative 4/9 times w, which is greater than 10. And again, to get rid of this fraction, I can multiply by it turned upside down. I want to match the sign because negative times negative is positive, and that's what I want. We got a lot of canceling going on here. That's great. But guess what? I'm multiplying by a negative, so I'm going to have to flip the sign around, and I have to do it to the other side exactly the same as I did it on the right. So again, I have 2 that's common here, and I wouldn't begrudge you if you want to lean on a calculator when you get to some of these fraction problems. 5 times negative 9 on the top is negative 45, and on the bottom is a 2. So we have w is less than negative 45/2. W is less than negative 45/2. Check. Very good. Let me go back here. I don't have that answer again. Let's see, what was that? We had to flip the sign, and we had 5. Let's see if I can do it without y. Is that what we had? Nice. Okay, I wanted to try another of these just for fun. If I have negative 4u is less than or equal to 12, I'm going to divide by negative 4 to get u by itself. But guess what? Dividing by a negative, as soon as you think of that, I always write this arrow. It helps me to remember and just feel good about the fact that I remembered to flip the sign. This canceled nicely, so I have u over here, and over here 12 divided by negative 4. Positive divided by negative is going to give me a negative. So I have u is greater than or equal to negative 3. Oh, that's a screenshot. U is greater than or equal to negative 3 if I remembered to write that correctly. Very good. Hope that helps.